Welcome back to week 5 of the Quake Pro League. I am 40 Lions, joined by Lethal. We have 2 featured matches remaining, and hold tight because we're going to turn the volume knob up to Maxter. It's going to get real serious. Wheat, come on in here.
Wonderful. What's up, gentlemen? I mean, there's nothing better than being introed along with a 40 Lions pun. If you don't know, one day I hope you will. What's up? Great matches today. Some really interesting results, I think. We have a slight audible, right? We're gonna do Maxter and Sirius matchup first. It doesn't matter. We're gonna be seeing both of them and just mixing it up, keeping you on your toes.
Yeah,
it's good to be here.
All for it. And should be incredible stuff already, because like going into this next one, Max and Sirius as well, it's just 2 insane, crazy aim duelists. Of course, we know that Max has more decided adaptation, but my God, I think it's gonna be an utter bloodbath going into this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say best posture in the league, right? Hands down.
Yeah.
The in-game mechanics and everything, fine, but best posture in the league, hands down. Shouts to Maxter. He made a bit of a splash ever since he's got here, taking down some of the Titans, getting closer and closer to getting top 3. And now we have Sirius, the newcomer to the league. His mechanics are absolutely out of control. This dude can shred with an LG. And it's going to be amazing to watch these two go head-to-head and battle it out.
I mean, I think one of the big things that comes to mind, because I love how you teed it up with, right, 2 just absolute aim beasts. I think you've also got 2 completely different sort of composure styles, right? Maxter, who we often refer to as someone who remains almost as statuesque throughout an entire a match. He's got the perfect posture. Sirius, I like Sirius because he's more like me. He's that emotional player, right? Like if he's not happy with the game, you're gonna know he's not happy with the game. But a lot of times that can kind of fuel what he's doing in game. Of course, you can always go the tilt route too, which is not so fun to be. So seeing how those 2 things are gonna collide here, I think will also be pretty fascinating to watch. Of course, picks and bans will play a big part of this, I think.
I think we should hop right into them. Wheat, since you brought it up, and get a better idea of what we have in store. Wheat,
great.
If you want to go do the honors, I'll allow you.
Yeah, great. We got Corrupted Keep, Awoken, and then Blood Covenant with Molten and Deep Embrace, which actually I would love to see these 2 on Deep Embrace, but here we go. And on Corrupted Keep, it's the Maxter on the Slash versus the Anarchy. For Awoken, Maxter on the Athena versus the Nyx, and then Blood Covenant Doom versus the BJ. And I have to say, of all 3 of those, the one that I'm I think really interested in is what kind of game we're going to see on Awoken, right? We've been seeing a lot of really interesting Athena play, but I think Nyx is pretty fine choice here too. So that's like a big question mark here. Of course, on Corrupted Keep, right? I kind of like the Slash a little bit more, but we've seen Sirius and other players with Anarchy in the same situation. So I'm not sure how that one's going to go. And yeah,
it's going to be extremely tough. Like, I've seen Max to whip out the Slash a couple of times and Corrupted Keep. I remember the last time from memory was at King Kong back at the end of October, where he was literally like 7 or 8 frags down on Corrupted Keep against Razy, and he brought it back and won it. Like he does some serious work. I don't know how he gets away with some of the stuff he does, but his thought process on how to throw his opponent off completely in terms of audio cues and just to try and re-rotate back and forth to kind of like throw him off their guard to a certain degree, it's just ridiculous. So that's gonna be like an explosive way to start things off. And for me, it's the final one is going to be Blood Covenant on how the Doom versus the BJ pick's going to go, because with the Doom, I think it's a good pick in terms of the fact that once the Slash, Athena, Visor, or any other the champion, or Strogman as a good example, are not in play or have already been used or banned, Doom is normally the kind of go-to medium champion, isn't he, for Blood Covenant? But for Sirius, so I do, or have noticed that on the larger map pool, he has used BJ once before. I think previously I remember casting, he actually used BJ for Molten Falls, but he's that comfortable with his aim skill. He's more prioritising his aim skill rather than his mobility here, but we'll see how that goes for him, because I have a lot of faith in what he can do here, but this Cup to Keep one, like, my God, it's going to be ridiculous.
Should be an absolutely fantastic set as we're going to await players loading up, getting ready. But let me take a quick peek at the chat predictions here. 57% in favor of Maxter, at least on Corrupted Keep. not too shabby. I like that. That's an even split. Me personally, I look forward to map number 3 simply because the BJ pick is interesting. Is it just a matter of Sirius saying, look, I'm great with an LG if I have to, even better? Or does he have a little bit more, there in terms of the game plan and execution? But, I'm going to enjoy this one from the couch and let the adults handle this. I'm going to take a bit of a break, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. How about that?
All right, get the hell out of here. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. No. Well, don't worry, 40 will be back. And for those that are asking, they're like, "Oh my God, I stepped away for 2 seconds and I missed the Rafa." No, the featured match has just been swapped. So Rafa versus Awoken has not been played yet, and it will be played immediately after this. Lethal. The other thing that's pretty important about this match that we didn't touch on yet is that both of these players sitting around a similar rank. Maxter number 10, Sirius I believe number 13, but both with a 2-1 score, right? So I think one person's going to be able to squeeze ahead just a little bit further. The other one's going to have a little bit longer climb, but both even Stevens on this one as far as their actual overall league score in week 5. So kind of a big one going into this.
Yeah, certainly is indeed. Sirius hasn't really got as much pressure. He's probably feeling quite comfortable now as, make his way into the Quake Pro League, going 2 for 1, considering even before the Quake Pro League, even during challenges, everyone knew what Sirius was like as a player. They knew that he's an incredibly talented aim duelist. He's sometimes his adaptation can let him down at times, but then again, his aim skill can dig him out of a massive deep hole. Like, we've seen it quite a few times, and it's been a bit of a shock to the system. But Maxter's just been on the up and up consistently over the course of time. He's becoming more confident. The only thing he had to work on previously was the odd matters of timing and ammo management. He's kind of corrected that pretty much at this stage. And now, of course, as a duelist, it's that hierarchy of your dueling experience, your adaptation. And he has been building it more and more. But the biggest gap was last year's QuakeCon when he lost in that losers finals. When he dropped down from winners final into losers finals and managed to get top 3 anyway, you could see the gap between Razy and Kilson and Max at the time. He could see the gap clear as day, where everything he would do with his agility, the pace he would create in the game, the abuse of the slide champions as well, it worked to a certain point, but now he's got to try and figure out a way how to bridge that top 2 bracket, which I've kind of noticed over the last 4 to 6 months, he has been working on his adaptation, but at the same time making it into his style. So I'm glad he's been working at that, because you can't just rely on speed and agility for the entirety of the Pro League if you want to win a Quake World Championship.
Yeah, I agree. And we've been seeing that, right? We've seen the evolution of Maxter. I mean, shit, we've seen the evolution of Sirius too, right? So, but I completely agree with everything you just said. And for those who are waiting, guess what? Wait no longer, because we're about ready to hop into this warm-ups into 3, 2, 1 fight. We are officially live. Looking through the eyeballs of Maxter right away. He is going to get the mega spawn along with the LG, and you guys were talking earlier about the heavy machine gun and just how beefy it can actually be, and this is a map that we see that obviously a lot of opportunities for just that long range picking away, get some of that cess damage off, and put you in a great spot if you do indeed engage with the fight.
Yeah, it certainly does indeed. As Maxter, thank God, he's actually proven us right, using the damn thing right at the very beginning with the amount of damage he'd done there. The times the items almost perfectly in sync. Oh, the direct coming up from Maxter. It's going to be huge. He had the choice here to go for and seal that frag, or just to bide his time and let Sirius overthink the situation, which he has done a little bit. Heavy up, and the Mega will be in 5. This should be a very spicy affair, considering the champion choices and the map we're playing on. But there's under playing a little bit of game of chess at the moment here.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, I'd even say that Maxter's definitely playing safe, right? I think he could have controlled the bridge a little bit a little bit more there to his advantage, potentially picked up that heavy, but both of the majors are at the exact same time. So he seems to kind of want that mega and doesn't want to give that up. But here's an opportunity. He goes in with the LG. LG pops out on the other side too, and it's very, very close on each side. Sirius coming out of that one just a little bit better. And then we see that heavy machine gun coming out. The lights picked up, but boom, there it is. And Maxter with a good read, knowing his opponent's going into the red room, got a lot of damage there with that heavy, and that will also be first blood.
Yeah, patience certainly paid off there as Maxter looking to flank back around to see him get a bit of damage with the heavy. Hasn't. Look at, and it was a little bit of a shock to the system there, but Sirius, even though he hasn't got the stack, he's trying to at least do a fair amount of damage to try and go for this mega. How on earth? You have to stay alive above it. I don't know. Mega's up. Oh, at the time, he's just a little bit missed. And now Max is looking to try and make this a third, if he can, a direct though. My goodness. And using the heavy machine gun to do additional damage there. Perfect for Maxter.
That was a rough go there for Sirius, right? Maxter getting that rocket and then getting the mega on that. That was really unfortunate. I think you could have possibly tried to regain some control here, but Maxter now 2 frags up. Still really early in this one, but I do appreciate kind of Maxter's safe play on here. How long he can keep that up for, we'll have to see, because Sirius he's looking for his opportunity. I wouldn't say that his LGs really saved him yet on here, and a lot of these rockets from Maxter on a defensive position have really been hitting their mark lethal. So that's been a huge +1 to Maxter's game here in this first map.
Yeah, Maxter realizes that he can't just rely on his combat skills alone due to Sirius's history, so he's just adapting well and just prioritizing positional advantage overall, and it's paying dividends massively here as he's just trying to keep him out of LG reach. Uses the inject there, trying to get a bit more done with that LG. And LG better comes up between the two, and Maxter comes out on top, left on 17 HP. Keep an eye on those items, though. We'll be up in the next 7 seconds. It depends how much Maxter wants to try and stay behind. Okay. I'll take that as a full frag. That was ridiculous as he's now heading towards that heavy finally. And they've got any rockets, but of course that will change in a second.
This is one of those key kind of critical moments, right? You're 4 down, and you really have to be careful, I think, of just going full tilt. Oh my God, the direct rocket out of the telly into the easy pickup. And I don't think this is good. This is not, remember we talked a little bit about that emotion coming out? Well, it's coming out on both sides, right? From Maxter's side, he is cool, calm, collected, and he is letting that just kind of take that from one frag to the next. I think Sirius may be trying to force the issue a little bit too much lethal, and that can easily just give your opponent a 3 frag advantage suddenly, which is exactly what happened there in about the 4-minute mark. And right now, Maxter just has absolute control.
Yeah, his job this game is basically to try and make him feel a bit uncomfortable, but Sirius does get the first frag, does have 5 minutes left in play, and Slash can be quite squishy, but extremely difficult to try and keep it in the rock and a hard place here. Sirius now got a massive stack to work with, just a matter of how he's going to try and pin Maxter down as he is on the hunt. Does catch him, now only 5 frag deficit here. Sirius is looking to try and pull off an incredible feat, try and tie this up with Maxter.
I mean, I gotta say, like, it's not a terrible idea to just use aggression to try to gain control, right? I mean, he gave up 3 frags. I can sit here all day on the sidelines and comment on that, but look at the pressure he's been able to apply since getting that 1 frag. And every single one of them has been just sort of catching him, no armor, LG out, and that's where we've even identified. That's some of his, where some of his skills really lie. And there's another one right there. Good read on that. And suddenly you're down by 7, and now you're only down by 3. So now it's Maxter's turn to see how he's going to kind of approach this. But it worked out for Sirius. He was like, yeah, I'm going to get angry and I might even tilt, but I'm going to get that frag and I'm going to try to bring it back.
The difference now is, of course, the stack difference. Mega's up in 10, and Sirius is going to do his best to contest it if he can, but he's trying to be in a position to get away as well if he can. Oh, the LG coming out from Sirius was so good, but Maxter does stay alive long enough win that last bout and also pick up the Mega as coming in with the Anarchy straight away, and the trade comes out between the two, now becoming a much closer affair as now Max is leading on those 4 frags and just over 3 minutes left.
Yeah, it was that trade actually came at a pretty good time for Sirius, but that clock is ticking away, and he is going to need to be putting on that pressure when he can. Sneaks in, does grab that Mega, a little bit of LG damage, but Maxter has a reasonable stack here, and the Heavy's going to be up, but I don't know that Sirius is going to go for it. Nope, he decides to double back a long time till this Mega. Heavy picked up by Maxter, and Maxter has a chance here to make a move.
And making Maxter overthink a little bit. Sirius now holding top mid. Good damage there with the LG. Coming in, just continuing.
Sit up, baby.
Damage counter there. Picks up the Mega. Heavy is going to be in time for it, but Maxter is directly above him, so needs to be careful of any rockets raining down. But he's actually dropped and decided to back away. But I kind of feel like in terms of his long-term goal is just to defensively just keep away from Sirius now and see what you can do. You can do it for a couple of minutes, especially as the slash. But, oh, and look at that. The main thing Maxter was doing it was not to do the damage, but just to destroy the momentum and the speed he had chasing Maxter down. But it's taken him down anyway, traps him in the red room, Mega's up, and Heavy's come up in 7. And if he gets that now, Sirius could be on the path to bring this back and tie things up.
Oh, nice rocket and a follow-up as well, and suddenly Sirius has brought this deficit just to 2. Less than 2 minutes left to go here, Lethal. This is actually turned out to be quite an interesting game. Maxter was such solid control there at the beginning, but Sirius using that aggression to really bring it back into his favor. He's not quite there yet, but Mega is up. It's missed just barely. Some additional damage coming out from Sirius. Can he get the last one? Oh my God, I'm not sure. But I was looking through, Sirius' point of view. It looks like Maxter might have hit that wall here, and Sirius is 1 frag away from tying this up.
He certainly is, and he can definitely do it as well. And he's going to catch him off guard, especially around that light area straight away. One heavy machine gun is Maxter loses on that last bounce. Sirius has tied this up, and remember, was everyone at home at one stage, Maxter was up 7-0. Oh, he's caught with that rocket as well. And he can't fight this, not at all. No. If he had a couple frag leads, maybe Maxter could have hung around the tri-bolt area like most people do on Cut to Keep and then just abuse his mobility, but he can't do that now. He needs to try and bring himself back in this matchup with Sirius with a very tough stack to fight against.
Yep, and he's gonna go in on, Trail is out, but the beautiful rocket into a follow-up Lethal, and that could be it right here. Sirius grabs the lead, and he gave up. He was at a 7 frag deficit. He gave up 3 in a row, but eventually it paid off, and then he just used his LG in such an aggressive manner. Unfortunately, Trail not really helping out too much here for Maxter, and the speed he was trying, but Sirius was able to keep up with them, and he does get a little bit of damage there at the end, but Sirius takes game 1 in, what I would say is a phenomenal comeback. I mean, anytime you sit here and go, hey, he's throwing himself at the problem, right? And on certain maps, that could be a real issue. On Keep, it can actually work, and Sirius just showed, listen, don't talk about my aggression. Like, it is a skill in and of itself, and we got to see it right there.
Yeah, and it's one of the worst things you don't want to see as well. The fact that you've got playing as a Maxter on Corrupted Keep on Slash, and he's been notorious for being an extremely difficult opponent to play against on this map in particular. But the fact that Sirius barely lost control after he gained it, this says volumes, really. Didn't really give or have too much unreturned damage. He was able to continue those engagements each and every time. And that's the problem we see. The reason why it's so difficult on Corrupted Keep on a number of occasions to try and claw your way back is just due to the fact that with a lot of the engagements you sometimes take too much damage and you just keep getting traded out, and it just keeps going back and forth, and it's just becomes a very tough road in itself. Or sometimes the items will be too much in sync in order to try and bring it back due to your opponent coming out to bag one every single time. It's just a real pain in the backside. But you can see there the damage, over 2,000 damage with the LG compared to Max's 1,474 and nearly 45% LG accuracy as well.
I mean, it made a pretty big difference. A couple of those key fights early on, Maxter did win, but you know, again, Sirius knew that he had an opportunity, and it was after that trade that he was really able to kind of bring it back, knowing like, okay, now I know that we're kind of in the same spot. I think he got heavy spawn right immediately after that, and was able to kind of use that, catch Maxter off guard a couple times. Maxter definitely was going into a more defensive form, and I think that kind of worked out for Sirius, right? He was able to find Maxter. You know, we've seen this map too, where kind of there's a ring around the rosy type thing going on, where you know, both players are just kind of missing each other here and there, but Sirius read that, and very, very well. Maxter just couldn't hide, and that was a phenomenal comeback. I'm real excited here for next matchup, because there was also a couple of moments where you just kind of wish there was a rail on keep, because you know, you see it just almost frags that could have gone either way, but that's how it goes.
So I'll take it. A 7-0 deficit and coming back, I'll take that for days. Watching what we saw. And I feel sorry for Maxter as well. I did actually say Maxter was the one who brought it back against Razy by a 7-8 frag deficit. And then Sirius ended up doing the exact same thing. No wonder he was so keen on playing him on Corrupted Keep. But going on to Awoken and the Athena versus Nyx matchup, it's very hard to decide which is better, because they both have their positives going into this matchup, especially, of course, with the Athena. If the Nyx uses the Ghost Walk in any way, shape, or form, then of course you can try and get out of harm's way if she uses it for aggressive purposes for the items. But of course, going into the Sirius' mindset, though, I want to see what he's going to do with the Nyx in particular.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a different style or approach going into this matchup from what we've seen previously, where it was just not all that aggression. It was all chest before, thinning each other out during the first few minutes. But this time around, it could be a little bit different. But we know how annoying and how much of a nuisance the Athena is. But let's see what happens. As Sirius is coming up 1-0 now. It's been a good day of upsets. We've only had two, but there could be a third here, considering what we saw in that first map, as we're going to start off from Sirius's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's an uphill battle here for Maxter to see what's going to happen. Obviously, really curious to see how Rail plays into this game. Both players with some incredible aim, but how is it going to play in? Well, LG's coming out first here for Sirius, as he is going to try to put some pressure here on Maxter. And if I'm not mistaken, now they both have their rails now, so gonna slow down just a little bit. Sirius picking up that heavy. And will we see some aggressive Ghost Walk? I mean, obviously a great defensive tool. Sirius, the kind of style of player that he is, really eager to see him go with some sort of aggressive Ghost Walk play.
Yeah, maybe at a time when it's got both items under control. Or if he knows he's got a huge stack advantage just to confirm the kill, then possibly, yeah. 57 damage from that last tri-bolt. It's going to linger away. It's just in that choke point, but the tri-bolt comes out from Maxter once again. There's Mega will be up in 20. See if he's got other ideas, assuming he's going to be going for the TP, which he does do, but preemptively. Sirius now just buying this time a much slower game compared to what we saw, but it's kind of like the trend really, or a pattern from what we've seen from the first map now going to the second, where all all hell breaks loose and they start going absolutely rampant at each other. But find out momentarily, as they're both going to try and contest this heavy, as Sirius does pick that up. And this is the aggressive Ghost we'll talk about, but he's actually going to go for the TP. Let's go for the recover instead.
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. It was kind of,
it's like,
it was offensive and defensive, realizing, you know, two rails in a row, probably don't want to stick around to see if he can hit the third. And actually Maxter did miss it, which I'm sure Sirius is very happy about. But we're gonna have a fight here at the heavy. Two great rockets from up above coming out by Sirius. It's still not gonna stop Maxter from getting that heavy. Mega is going to be up, and Sirius waiting for it. Delays just a couple of seconds, which I think will play out here significantly as the match continues to go on. But yeah, still very calculated, kind of slow, but like you said, I'm sure the chaos is just around the corner.
Yeah, give it a couple of minutes. There we go. Sirius is getting a little bit bored already. He's diving straight on in around top mid. He's trying to get a bit of damage done. Not a huge amount there. Just a 16. Risk worth taking, but the problem is now... Oh, the rail comes out from Maxter as well straight afterwards.
That was a great angle, a tough one to hit, but he does manage to do it. Now Maxter, of course, who we saw with a significant lead in game number 1, has a little bit of padding, some cushion, a backup parachute, if you will, but I don't think after that game 1 you can really just be super comfortable where he's at. So how are we going to see Maxter kind of approach this with this 1 frag lead? We are going to have Mega up, and then there's about 4 seconds separating the two. And interesting, Ghost Walk through the Mega area. Maxter's going to immediately make his way over, and he's going to be able to get both of these. Actually applying some pressure early on. There is the grapple. Rail does manage to hit. Oh, and Sirius is going to keep on going for it. LG's coming out on both sides, but running out of cells. Maxter loses it. And that was really unfortunate. Great rail off to spawn there for Sirius, and he's still low, but that's a nice shot to hit right away. We're tied 1-1.
Yeah, the fact we had that discipline as well to hold it for that long. It's very easy to leave it a couple of seconds and then go straight towards a Mega, but... Oh, the good rail shot, though. Wait for him to re-peek back. He's actually going to dive straight on forward, and it's times to heavy just by a tad. And Sirius is now up 2-1. Mega's up in 15 seconds. Got top mid control. It's got the light if he has to fall back on if he's in a spot of bother. But right now, though, Sirius is looking extremely good. 4.5 minutes to go into this matchup here. So now Maxter needs to kind of change his game plan a little bit and how he's going to adapt and try pursue his next objective. Is Sirius now looking to try and rotate him back around again, but just letting Maxter know that he's well prepared and well ready to contest this item. And another great rail again, making that 3-1 for Sirius.
I mean, that looked very effortless right there. Just kind of,
Yeah.
you know, got into position. Maybe he'll peek over the edge, and he did, and that's going to be 3rd frag. Now, I want to quickly revisit frag number 2 from Sirius. I was still looking through Maxter's eyes, and I'm unsure about this, but I don't think the grapple did what he wanted it to. He seemed like he got in a pretty bad spot there. Maybe he didn't know where Sirius was exactly, so that's one to go back and maybe review those tapes. But some huge LG damage coming out, and I don't care who you are, you're running away from that one. That hurt a lot as Sirius now with this 2 frag lead. Things are looking pretty good. Lethal for Sirius. If he can hold on to this lead, we have 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining on the clock.
Yeah, the world's Sirius's oyster at the moment, of course, with that Ghost Walk intact. He can switch to that defensive style whenever he likes, but of course now is not the time as of yet. Well, remember, Maxter does have that mobility with the Athena if he wants to charge on in, but the rail comes out back and forth as Maxter's hit 2. That's going to be the window of opportunity to come in, but the LG's still looking very good for Sirius as Maxter does clean up in the end. As the Mega has been picked up. The heavy coming up in 5.
He needed that. Maxter really did. Going into these final 4 minutes. Yeah, I think he needed that. Going to use grapple to get closer. And actually, we're tied again with a suicide coming out from Sirius. We also saw that rail hit those. Tri-bolt almost finished him off very close. And now Sirius is in a rough spot here. Maxter knows exactly where he is. There's a really good idea. He kind of loses sight of him right there, so he manages to just kind of sneak away, but doesn't have a rail, so he's going to want to get his hands on that, and he will be able to finally sneak around and grab what's sitting on top of the heavy now. Will get that, and Sirius, despite, you know, dying there and killing himself and going back, oh, we could have an aggressive Ghost Walk coming out right here. Decides to go in for it, but it just pushes Maxter back. So let's see what happens here at Mega.
Oh, it's going to be flying on in. The LG goes flying high, and Sirius still gets taken down. I thought that was curtain call there for Maxter, but as if he was able to stay alive during that engagement. We were just getting lots of little bursts of action like here and there, but that was just ridiculous. Rocket jump comes out, it hits the direct here. He's going to try and finish one to shotgun, but Sirius still comes out on top.
unreal. I mean, going back to that last frag, I think Sirius's rocket was just a millimeter away from hitting. It was a nice call, and you know, getting him getting the LG hits up in the air, that was super nice. But Maxter bringing it right back. We're tie game now. Less than 2 minutes 15 seconds going here, and we're pretty even. Maxter's just a little bit more health. We saw Sirius try to sneak in there and get a rail, but he's gonna continue to hold on to position here. More LG. It's always a good thing to get. A trade on some rails as well. And wow, oh my gosh, Sirius is going to go for the aggressive on this, sitting on right on top of Maxter, and he does manage to get the shotgun blast. Nicely done. And there's an aggressive ghost walk for you.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me with Sirius. I can see him getting a bit bored a bit easily and using it more aggressively rather than trying to get away by any means. But he has picked up the heavies in a great stack, looking to try and extend it to 5 if he can. Maxter just getting a better position advantage. But he's in that choke point now. He's got to be a little bit cautious here. But it's done a fair amount of damage to continue to engage Bulvis Mega. But of course, Sirius is looking to back away, pick up the light and the bubbles around the area. Oh, he actually caught him. He could tie this up if he wants to. Looking to try if he can. He's just out of arm's reach.
Oh my gosh.
He's actually doing it aggressively.
Mad lad right there. He goes for it, but Maxter suspecting that something is wrong. Now LG out. It's going to be LG versus LG. Looking for a rail. Going to decide to rocket jump over. Instead, drops on top of that heavy, but only 8 points of health remaining. Maxter with the easy LG as he goes up the jump pad, and we're tied once again 4-4. Great matches so far.
Really has been, and a turning point is definitely going to be approaching this this heavy Zoe. Both of them were armorless at the point, but picked up the light anyway. Max has also picked up one himself. Of course, Max is in a better position for it. Sirius is going to have to bide his time, sadly. He's going to have to wait for that chip damage to help him try and contest another item. But as long as you could say it's direct rockets, but it's this defensive rockets coming in. We'll have to see going forward. Heavy's back up in the next 12 seconds, looking to rotate around, trying to find a bit. Sirius greets him with DLG. That's backed away. But Max is still on the warpath, trying to go for this heavy. Hits the first rail. Is he going to be able to try? No, he's not even going to bother. He's actually backing away once again as we head into Sun and Death here.
Yes.
And I'm not too surprised.
And Maxter doesn't know exactly where he's at. Up the jump pad, LG out. What a risky move. The Mega's picked up. Oh my God, no way. Running out of cells at the worst possible time. And somehow Maxter manages to pull that one out. I'd love to see that whole final exchange in slow-mo. Maxter did not know where Sirius was coming from. He shot a couple rockets down below. Sirius realizing maybe I can get up and flank him up that jump pad with the LG out. There was a ton of damage dished out there, but then when pushed in the corner, it looked like he ran out of cells, and that was Maxter's opportunity to close the book on that final frag and take the win. We're tied 1 game apiece, 5-4. That was a sick game. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I didn't know how it was going to go and what to expect. Like, Sirius is looking, this series alone, looking much better in terms of adaptation. And Maxter is definitely feeling the pressure at the moment. And as if the final frag had to end like this. I had to watch it again as well because I couldn't believe what was actually going on. But both these players, like I said, it's not just their combat skills, but their adaptation's also been pretty damn good so far from what we've seen over the last couple of maps. But going to the third map, Blood Covenant, this is going to be interesting in itself as we're going to just witness
there it is, the slow-mo
final moment. The Mega does come up.
Yeah, the
and
Mega.
Look at the LGs, wow.
And there it is, boom. Oh my God. I mean, I think that if there were a couple more cells, that 9 points is gone. The rocket probably would have hit, but the game would have ended before, like unreal. Unreal.
Yeah,
wow.
That was just silly, wasn't it? 52% rail accuracy for Maxter. 47% LG. I don't know what he's eating, but yeah, I wonder whatever he has for breakfast. Sirius is just, again, on a rampage. But Maxter did a phenomenal job bringing that back, considering the position he was in. It wasn't looking too good, looking very bleak. But like I said, 2 more ticks of damage. And 2 more ticks from that LG, and Maxter would have been toast. So, Yeah, what a close affair in itself. And since the series has been so great, we can't not have it, 2-0 going to the third map, going to series. We need to have it as one apiece. And we'll be going into Blood Covenant between the Doom and the BJ. And of course, we're not really seeing Blood Covenant use that much as one of the first map of the series. So normally we'll get, like I said before, the Slash, Fina, maybe a Visor, or maybe even a Galena, depending on the circumstances. But Doom can be like one of the next best things. Kilson, we've seen him use it quite a few times, a handful of times rather, on Covenant, when most of the champions with a decent amount of mobility, especially in the medium department, can be quite useful. But going into this one, I think for Sirius, he's using the BJ pick. I think that's more of a personal pick for him rather than a counter pick or anything else, because it suits his play style, it suits his needs, the ability, definitely suits his needs. But for Maxter, though, I think it's going to be, again, another very close affair for him, because he needs to be extremely cautious trying to bait out that dual wield. And it would surprise me if both of them play a lot of mind games, as we previously saw in the start of those first two maps.
Yeah, look, here's what I think we're going to see out of Maxter. I think he clearly was feeling his rail last game. I think he had 50 plus 51.2%. So, right, if I was Maxter, I'd probably also want to not be getting up in BJ's face, right? I do not want that dual wield LG kind of being shoved down my throat. So I kind of look for Maxter to try to create a longer distant, mid-distant game. And that's not uncommon here on Blood Covenant, but I think he needs to really try to force his opponent into that, that style of play. But look for Sirius to probably find those opportunities to be aggressive and dual wield that LG. Like you said, if he can bait it out, or if he can keep game more long distance combat, it might be better for Maxter. But we are officially live here on our third and final map, tied 1 game apiece. They're also both tied 2-1 in overall standings here in the QPL. So this is a big final map for both these players.
This is huge for them to try and slide their way into the top 8. The back away. And this is the thing, though, like, if they play that medium to long range game, it's going to be very difficult for the BJ to try and secure that frag. For the Doom, it's not too bad. There's a bit of mobility with the double jump, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's going to be tough for both players. Every time we see any matchup on Blood Covenant with using champions with barely any mobility, this ends up being a tied game, but a low fragging tied game. Max is trying to do everything he can to be a bit of a nuisance towards that mega and picks up the heavy.
I mean, Maxter hit the rails, but it was Sirius who was just laying on the heavy damage, and that adds up. It's unfortunate, if Maxter could have hit 2 of those in a row, I think that would have been a completely different exchange, obviously. But 1 minute in, there's a nice rail coming out. That one's going to force Sirius to react. He goes back to the pillars. And what is Maxter going to do? He doesn't know exactly where... Now he does. As he hears the tri-bolt fly by his ears. Now is heading on over. Great. I mean, his reads are really on point. He decides not to fire that rocket around the column and immediately goes back for that heavy. And we'll just kind of reset on both sides yet again.
Yeah, Maxter still hasn't picked up an LG. Slowly running out of rail ammo, but does pick it up to give him a bit of a helping hand from short, medium distance. Oh, okay, Sirius did have a bit of a feeling that he was there, so decided to drop all the way down instead and missed rail as both players on almost equal stack 2 minutes in. Oh, the try right there, 64. It's not going to give him the edge to make that push, but it's enough to maybe help contest an item, we'll see. But this is exactly what I want to see, Wheat, as well. 2 medium champions. We know it's going to be an extremely close affair. Going to this 1 apiece as well. And we know that if it's a Slash or a Fiend, it'll probably be like 4-1 or something by now, because it's so easy to secure those frags. But with these types of champions, it really isn't.
Oh my gosh, nice little assault there by Maxter. He's also going to add a little bit of time between these major items. He did manage to hit at least 3-4 shots with that heavy and then a rail. And now he's got a trap down below the columns. Big opportunity here. LG defense from down below. Surprising to see from Sirius, but it does manage to allow him to sneak away. And now this could be an opportunity for Maxter to grab that mega. I don't know exactly how he's going to play this one. And he will fall back and grab that. Will not have enough time to make it over to the heavy. But still, I think has that timing. In fact, sees his opponent pick it up. Now he's got him trapped down below. Can he get those rails out? 2 miss. The third one not coming out. Decides to switch over to the heavy. They're just ticking away. LG what? Heavy's doing all of the damage here, and both players backing off yet again, as rails have kind of not been working out for either player, really.
No, it just seems to be the heavy machine guns to go-to. But saying that, though, finally Sears does hit the rail of his own there. Max just looking to recover, trying to see if he's dropped down for the heavy, which he has not. He's still around rockets. Finally gets the info he needs in order to make the next decision, but barely through that gap. Sirius does pick up the heavy and do a fair amount of damage onto Maxter. The problem is now is Sirius is on the hunt for blood, but the direct, that's going to put a complete halt to that. Now Sirius has to now rethink his game plan once more.
Yeah, there's a lot of time between these 2 items, too. There is an opportunity for Maxter to make his way over. He sees his opponent on the bridge, misses that rail. Sirius hits his. Heavy is definitely up. Both players know it. Maxter is being very, very sly here, as so is Sirius. He's not going to make any sudden moves. He knows that he's got clear vision on, and there's no way his opponent's going to be able to go in there and sneak that away. And now, ironically, the items are matched again because there was so much time in between that heavy being picked up, and we're still 0-0 as we're about to hit this 5-minute mark.
This is so standard for... Oh, German, it comes up with a dual wield though, and this is why I said he needs to bait it out and get away. He does manage to get away. And Sirius knows that that window is now closed to try and deal with that. But this seems to be the game plan as well. He's just going to use that berserk to try and get away from any dual wields as it's going to be put in place. And Maxter just smelt it. As soon as he heard the TP go, that was it. He was straight out of there through the TP downwards. And Sirius, of course, couldn't catch up to him, but still has the high ground as the advantage here. If he lets, but he has actually let Sirius go up on that mega jump pad. It's understandable considering the angle Maxter is at. Back away again, still very similar stack as we're past the halfway mark.
This is such a fascinating game, and I know we had like 2 super action-packed games, but these 2 players, their map awareness, their reaction overall, the timing that we've seen. It's been incredibly fascinating despite the fact that it is 0-0. And I guarantee you when that first frag hits the floor, it's going to be a big one. And look at that, Sirius coming around. He knows his opponent's there. Double wheel does come out. Believe it or not, both players walking away with about the same stack. But that is exactly the kind of trap that Sirius is looking to set up. Maxter, I think he got caught in it, but he was able to get out. It was not super damaging. He played his cool, hit a nice rocket. But it only needs one of those, Lethal, right? For Sirius to potentially win this game. And Maxter has not been able to hit, consecutive rails as much as I think he would like to. In fact, Sirius has a 42% rail right now. There's another one. Yeah, 417, even Maxter calls himself out for it.
Yeah, I was going to mention his rail accuracy, but he's done my job for me, so I don't need to talk about that stat line there. But he knows it as well. He knows that due to his rail accuracy, we could be seeing a completely different picture. Absolutely is. And Meg's up going to be next 20 seconds. Finally, items are a little bit out of sync, but Max is like, I've had enough. I need to sort my life out a little bit. And he has done, going 2 for 2. That third was so important, but Sirius does get away, but the Mega's not up yet. So Sirius just needs to try and defend himself, but he's on 10 HP. But
oh my
Maxter,
gosh.
My goodness.
Oh my gosh. I actually think that Maxter could have rocket jumped to get that last frag, but he did it. There's a nice rail from Sirius. It is very, very close. Both players just whittling down one another's stack. And now Sirius is looking to be in the better position. Not a whole lot of time left as we exchange rails. Yet again, a lot of time before that heavy comes up. And Maxter, without any armor at all, looks for the armor down below. Goes to the blood pools, knows where his opponent is, and I think this is not good. Sirius is just above him. He's going to decide to go for it. Oh my god, the LG comes out, rail up the jump pad, and Sirius with the first frag. Maxter knew it. He knew what was about to happen. Some Tribal does come out and does a pretty good amount of damage, but with no rail, not a whole lot that he can do. Actually, probably misses that rocket coming out of it, but Sirius now with the lead.
Yeah, it certainly does indeed, but mobility is not on his side, but if he does get into a spot of trouble, he can use that dual wheel just to do as much damage as he can before being taken out by Maxter, but he's picked up the Mega. Good rails coming up for Maxter finally throughout this game. Sorry, Sirius rather, and he's going to try and get another one if he can. He still manages to hit him, and Sirius is trying to look for the second. Somehow gets away, but he's directly above him, trying to secure his second frag. And will he be able to, though? That's going to be the next question, if he wants to try and take this risk or not.
It's not over yet. 1 minute left to go. Maxter knows that he's going to have to get aggressive now. Sirius, it's going to be a role reversal. He needs to play it safe. Sitting on top of the bridge. Great place to be. Maxter looking for an opening. Sirius is going to be rotating over to the Mega. Oh, he looked away. Just said, but the turnaround, he does manage to hit that rail. Does he know where his opponent is? Coming up from the top, misses that opportunity as well. Only about 35 seconds remaining. Sirius playing this one very, very smart. Hits a beautiful rail. There is the heavy. Misses that follow-up one, but there's just going to be one more opportunity for Maxter.
He's obviously going to have to go for it at some point. The problem is he can't rocket jump either.
No.
He could be in a massive trouble, but this is going to be his time. But oh no, Sirius has picked up the Mega. But he has to go for it. He's only got 10 seconds left. He needs to make this push if he can. But Sirius is just waiting for him. He's got the angle he needs and just needs to keep his distance. Wow. That's going to be it. That's going to be Sirius winning it 1-0 and takes the series 2-1. Yeah, that was a very interesting series. I've had just a mixed bag of absolutely everything. But yeah, well played to Sirius in the end. Sadly, the rail from Maxter did let him down a little bit, but yeah, just one of those things. Just wasn't his day today.
His rail in game 2 was looking pretty good. It just wasn't really coming together. I have to give both players hats off for that one. I mean, GG's across the board. It was a super great game. Maxter clearly, I think, disappointed in that performance, and I think Sirius showed sort of just a very cool, calm, collected head. But anyway, let's bring 40 back in and see what he thought of this matchup. What is up, buddy? Welcome back.
What's up? So, first thing is hats off to Sirius, and it feels like a completely different Sirius because you mentioned earlier, he's kind of an emotional player. There's the ability to tilt, which we've seen every now and again, maybe not in the Quake Pro League, but other duels. But being able to fight back from a 7 frag deficit on Corrupted Keep and staying composed and being able to bring that back to a victory, oh, buddy, I'm here for it. That was incredible. That was absolutely just fantastic to watch, especially from him because it's so easy to tilt in that position. That's like the tilt position when you're down 7-0, but he brought it back. Map number 2, nail biter, literally down to the last fight. You could even see Maxter was like, I didn't really deserve that. Like, it was kind of not really luck, but it was just, something went his way. And then this one, a chess match to end it, 1-0. Just hats off to Sirius. It was a fantastic set. Maxter still plays like a beast, just couldn't climb up over this hill. But wow, I'm just really, really impressed with Sirius.
Yeah, there was not like there was no dominance in that matchup at all, right? It was a very close photo finish race across the board. And I'm sure that those victories sting a little bit because you can, where are all the places that I could have squeezed out that one extra frag? But that was such a phenomenal series. And more than anything, you mentioned Maxter's performance in last year's finals. We got to see Sirius come in and kind of do some damage. And we've said it time and time again, and we'll continue to do so, that just the quality of players right now and how close they actually are across the board and the little variables that could determine a map going one way or the other. It's really great to see all this happening in the QPL right now. It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is indeed. And, the goal for anyone against Sirius is that we've seen a couple of people do it in the past is you've got to not give him so much open space. You've got to make him feel extremely uncomfortable, awkward in a lot of sense to not be able to get away with some of the aim skill he provides in his gameplay. And for Maxter, he had to give him quite a lot of free roam due to the item control that Sirius had a lot of the time. But the fact that, that Corrupted Keep game was just insane. I think the entire series, every single map went by one frag, and it was just incredible in itself. But for Sirius now, he's shown that he can be an extremely strong competitor coming into the QPL. And just look forward to see how he does against his other opponents.
Yeah, I mean, we've always kind of said the mechanics are just off the charts with Sirius. If he can round out his game by playing around the items and playing, more passive when he needs to and being able to attack, not all the time and not have that aggression, it seems like he reined it in and just did, the most fantastic comeback I think we've seen. I think another one was in the finals where it was Rafa versus Wenger on Molten Falls and the Scale Bear Ranger thing. Like, that was insane too. But this one was really, really good for like the regular season, and it's just amazing to me. It's fantastic, and it's great to see these players grow. And like you said, we're spoiled. I mean, all the talent is just really, really good and getting better in this league, and it's fantastic to see every week.
It is.
We are working on an interview too, by the way. So it's turning into a podcast, boys. So like, talk amongst yourselves while I write my notes for no reason. But we're trying to get Sirius in here. So I can't wait to talk to him.
I still think the game of that series was game number 2. There was so much that kind of took place. I really liked the way that both players were approaching it. We got to see sort of Ghost Walk used in some interesting ways. And that one where he got the Ghost Walk into the shotgun kill. That one, I feel like it was kind of dirty. It could have gone like either way, pretty. But hey, a lot of Quake is being able to know when, this is still a good risk for me to take. That's kind of how Sirius was operating, and that was a great game.
Yeah, he is the kind of player I expect to use the Ghost Walk aggressively or get a little bit impatient at times. But on Blood Covenant, he was extremely patient. You kind of have to, don't you? You have to wait quite a long time for those initial frags. Like I said before, without, the Athena, the Slash, or the Visor with a piercing sight to maybe close out the odd frag or two. Without the sword, the Strog as well. It can be tough, and those matchups, it does surprise me. It ends up being 1-0, 2-1. I mentioned before it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's just a matter of how it's going to unfold. And it's not the first time we've seen 1-0 on Blood Covenant. I mean, we've seen a few in our time. Seen a few.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to pop some bottles and get Sirius in here. I'm sure he has some words. Sirius, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you. That was really rough. Tough game.
Wheat, I'm going to let you start off.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to take the first question. First off, Sirius, congratulations. We loved that match from start to finish. It was phenomenal. I want to talk about game 1 because that was where Maxter had a 7-0 lead. And, he got that 7-0 lead because you were definitely putting on the aggression, right? Like, it thought maybe you knew that you'd done some damage, right? But you kept on throwing it at yourself at him. You did manage to get that frag, and then it seemed like you just kind of turned up and said, we're going to play this game at my pace. Talk to us a little bit about what was kind of going through your head. Was that like almost a tilting moment, but then you brought it back? Did you just feel like that was the right thing to do? I'd love to hear your insight into game 1.
All right, first of all, thank you. And game 1 was that was not part of the plan. Me pushing in that many times. That was not my game plan at all. I just kind of felt like he shut me down really well in those first few minutes of the map. Like, he was outing me in mean fights. I just felt like I couldn't hit anything. So I feel like I was instinctively forcing fights just to kind of like get in the groove maybe.
Okay.
And warm up because I just didn't feel my best. And once it's kind of started going, I started healing it a lot more. And that's pretty much it. I could have done that a lot better, honestly. Like the 7-0 lead, I believe.
Yeah, it was a great comeback.
That could have been GG at that point, but it's Corrupted Keep. We're both playing light. I still think Anarchy has an advantage over Slash, no matter who's playing Slash, just because of the inject. I know there's been times where I pick up the Mega and I still use the inject just so I know I can get to heavy like even faster, and I used it to get a kill at one point.
Yeah. Well done. That was a great comeback.
Yeah, I've got a simple question. Just where do you buy your LG from? Because I kind of feel like every single time I've watched you play with LG, it's like in the 40s, 50%. Like, for example, that entire series, it was in the 40s in terms of accuracy every single game. And what I would love to know is what led you to become such a good duelist in terms of your aim skill leading up to this moment? You've obviously, practiced really hard. You've obviously got some set steps on how to lead up from, like, you know, not being able to frag anyone at all at the aim school, leading up to how you are now. But I'd love to know, just long story short, how you've been able to progress this far in terms of having a high level of accuracy across the board with your tracking with your LG.
Well, I started playing Quake Live when I was really young, even Quake 3 before that. And I was, obviously at that point, I had no like intention of ever like, the concept of being pro or even being good at the game was not in my head at all. And I just started playing this mode called Clan Arena, where it was basically just aim. Like there was no items. The only thing you had to do was kill the opponent faster than he killed you. And I started playing 1v1s, which is, you know, kind of stupid if you think about it, but to me it was interesting because I was still really young. And to be truthfully honest, like the whole reason I started playing with LG that much and I started developing this interest for like hitting as much as possible is just because, you know, as a kid, I found the weapon really cool and interesting. And I was like, oh wow, I really want to become good with this weapon. I use it all the time. And I played a lot of that. I played a lot of aim trainers. I've been heavily into that the past couple of years, and that's becoming really big, but that's a whole different topic.
Nice.
And as far as duel, like it was all about transitioning aim. Like it wasn't easy to transition my mechanics into duel because it's a whole different playstyle. People do not give you as many angles as you want. People don't take the fights you want. So that took some time, and I've had my, you know, ups and downs. I had my long periods of time where I don't even play the game, but now I'm back and I'm putting like everything into it.
Well, those aim trainers definitely helped you, mate. I'm telling you that right now. So make sure you keep using them.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Congrats, Sirius. I just have a quick question. When is the Serious Aim Academy for amateurs gonna be established? Just for everyone that wants LG. See, there you go, Chad. See, so if you want an LG like him, sign up, give him all of your money, and that's how you get it done. Checks in the mail, right, Sirius? All right, I got you, buddy. Congratulations again. I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you throughout the league, and it's good to see you back and super focused. It's always a pleasure to watch you play.
Yeah, GG, man.
Yeah, good stuff, mate.
Thank you.
Have a good one. So, boys, that's it for today. Just kidding, chat almost pooped its pants. No, we have one more featured match on the way. Rafa versus Avik. Do not go anywhere. We will be back with more Quake action right after this.